In a shocking turn of events, Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, has finally broken his decades-long silence on America's most pressing retirement crisis. What he revealed sent shockwaves through the financial world and left millions of Americans questioning their retirement security. The legendary investor, known for his calculated optimism, painted a stark picture of Social Security's future that nobody saw coming. His warning wasn't just another market prediction, it was a desperate wake-up call that affects every single American, whether they're 25 or 65. The multi-billionaire's unprecedented statement came with a timeline that's left financial experts scrambling and retirees wondering if their life savings are about to vanish into thin air. But before we dive into Buffett's earth-shattering revelation, you need to understand the hidden force that's been quietly draining America's retirement safety net for years. Before we uncover the full scope of this retirement crisis and what it means for you and your family, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's rewind to a crisp autumn morning in Omaha, Nebraska. Warren Buffett, sitting in his modest office at Berkshire Hathaway's headquarters, finally decided to address the elephant in the room: Social Security's impending collapse. For years, the 92-year-old investing legend had carefully avoided making direct statements about this sensitive topic. But something changed, something so concerning that it compelled one of the world's most successful investors to sound the alarm. "The mathematics of Social Security are brutal and unavoidable," Buffett stated, his voice carrying the weight of decades of financial wisdom. "We're facing a perfect storm that will hit every retiree hard, and it's approaching faster than anyone in Washington wants to admit." What exactly did Buffett mean by a perfect storm? The answer lies in a complex web of demographic shifts, political inaction, and economic realities that have been brewing for decades. According to the latest Social Security Administration reports, the trust fund is set to be depleted by 2034, just 9 years from now. But here's what makes Buffett's warning different: he's not just looking at the numbers everyone else sees. Think about this for a moment. What if everything you've been told about Social Security's safety net was based on overly optimistic assumptions? Buffett pointed out 3 critical factors that nobody's talking about. First, the rapid acceleration of inflation has thrown all previous calculations out the window. The cost of living adjustments that were supposed to protect retirees are now working against them, draining the trust fund faster than ever before. But here's where it gets really interesting and concerning. Buffett revealed that the real threat isn't just the depletion of the trust fund. It's the domino effect that will follow. When the fund runs dry, benefits won't just drop by the widely reported 23%. The actual reduction could be much more severe, and here's why. The billionaire investor explained how the current system relies on a delicate balance between active workers and retirees. In 1950, there were 16 workers for every Social Security beneficiary. Today, that ratio has plummeted to just 2.8 workers, and it's still falling. But this isn't just about demographics, it's about fundamental changes in our economy that no one saw coming. Remember the massive shift to remote work during the pandemic? It didn't just change how we work, it transformed the entire employment landscape. More people are now working as independent contractors or in the gig economy, which means less stable Social Security tax revenue. Buffett highlighted how this structural change could accelerate the system's collapse. But there's another factor that's even more alarming. The investment returns on the Social Security Trust Fund have been historically low, averaging just 2.4% annually. Buffett, known for his investment acumen, pointed out that this return rate is catastrophically inadequate in today's economic environment. When you factor in inflation, the real return is negative, meaning the fund is losing purchasing power every single day. Here's where Buffett's warning gets personal for every American. He outlined how the coming crisis won't just affect current retirees, it's going to fundamentally reshape retirement planning for generations to come. Young workers today are essentially paying into a system that might not exist in its current form when they retire. Think about that for a moment. If you're in your 30s or 40s, you've been contributing to Social Security your entire working life. But what if those contributions are going into a system that's mathematically guaranteed to fail? Buffett's analysis suggests that without dramatic changes, today's workers might see returns on their Social Security contributions that are pennies on the dollar. But there's more to this story that needs to be understood. The Oracle of Omaha didn't just point out problems, he outlined potential solutions, though they're far from painless. He suggested that the fix would require a combination of three uncomfortable changes: raising the retirement age, increasing Social Security taxes, and reducing benefits for higher-income retirees. However, here's where politics comes into play, and it's not pretty. Buffett expressed deep concern about Washington's ability to make these necessary changes before it's too late. The political will to fix Social Security is inversely proportional to the time we have left to fix it, he noted with characteristic wisdom. By the time everyone agrees we have a crisis, it will be too late to prevent serious pain. The impact of these changes would be felt differently across different income levels and age groups. For those already in retirement or approaching it, the changes could force dramatic lifestyle adjustments. For younger workers, it might mean completely rethinking their retirement strategy. But what makes Buffett's warning particularly credible is his track record of being right about long-term economic trends. Remember, this is the same investor who warned about the housing bubble years before it burst in 2008. When Buffett speaks about long-term economic trends, markets listen, and this time, he's talking about something that affects every American's financial future. So what can you do to protect yourself? Buffett emphasized that personal responsibility in retirement planning is more crucial than ever. He suggested that Americans need to think of Social Security as just one component of their retirement strategy, not the foundation it once was. This means increasing personal savings, understanding investment options, and potentially working longer than planned. But here's the catch: these adjustments need to start now, not when the crisis hits. As Buffett puts it, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The legendary investor also touched on something that few others have considered: the psychological impact of this crisis. When people lose faith in Social Security, it could trigger a broader crisis of confidence in other government programs and institutions. This could lead to social and political instability that would make solving the problem even harder. Looking at historical examples, Buffett drew parallels to other countries that faced similar retirement system crises. Chile, for instance, had to completely overhaul its pension system in the 1980s. The transition was painful, but the alternative would have been catastrophic. The United States now faces a similar crossroads, but with much higher stakes given the size of our economy and population. But there's a silver lining to Buffett's warning, albeit a small one. The very fact that he's speaking out now means there's still time to act both on a personal and national level. The question is, will we heed his warning, or will we continue down the current path until it's too late? The coming years will be crucial. As Buffett pointed out, the decisions made, or not made, in Washington over the next few years will determine whether Social Security faces a controlled restructuring or a chaotic collapse. The difference between these two scenarios could mean thousands of dollars per year for the average retiree. Speaking of numbers, let's look at some shocking statistics that Buffett highlighted. A typical married couple retiring today has paid around $600,000 in Social Security taxes over their working lives, including employer contributions. Under the current system, they might expect to receive about $900,000 in benefits over their retirement years. But with the coming changes Buffett warns about, those benefits could be slashed by far more than the officially projected 23%. This brings us to perhaps the most important part of Buffett's message: the need for immediate action. He emphasized that the longer we wait to address these issues, the more painful the solutions will become. It's like a medical condition: treating it early is always better than waiting until it becomes an emergency. But Buffett's warning isn't just about numbers and policies. It's about the American dream of a secure retirement, a promise that's been part of our social contract for nearly 90 years. The potential breaking of this promise could reshape American society in ways we're only beginning to understand. As we wrap up this analysis of Warren Buffett's unprecedented warning about Social Security, it's clear that we're standing at a crucial crossroads. The decisions made in the next few years, both by policymakers and individuals, will determine the financial security of millions of Americans for decades to come. What do you think about Buffett's warning? How are you planning to protect your retirement in light of these challenges? Share your thoughts and strategies in the comments below. And if you found this analysis helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to stay informed about the latest developments in this ongoing crisis. Remember, knowledge and preparation are your best defenses against an uncertain financial future.